This will be a demonstration of how AM and EM are integrated into the LANDESK service desk and request catalog already, and what can be done to expand the capability of configuration management by leveraging AM and EM. So first of all, we'll notice that we're using AM to do trusted ownership, and there are files that are currently being blocked. So here's one on the desktop of CMD that I'm currently blocking. I can go ahead and make that request happen via email. A window pops up, and I can now say need to test CMD from desktop, and I can send that off. Now that I've sent that email off, I can go ahead and also, you'll see that there is a full-on catalog, that if there was an application missing of some kind, I could come into the software and see that catalog that's available to them and come back, and those that were under request means that there's licenses involved, and leveraging that capability of being able to say what's the cost of it, who's approving it, how is it getting delivered. A short description and screenshots are all part of that description that can be laid out here, as well as I can do just installs that are things that have been published to me that are already to be laid down. All of these applications can be delivered via Zen app or via VDI session. It doesn't matter what we're initiating, all of the things are configurable and transparent to the end user. All they know is they're asking for an application to run. So continuing on, if we look over at the request that's come in, you'll notice that I run the email integration piece, and it brings up my actual dashboard here, and I can now see that in the main request window, I can see a request has been made asking for access to that information to run CMD. So I'm opening up that authorization right now, and if I collapse all the sections down, I can even expand out the details and see specifically the file hash and the details about it. If the application required a approval, or if I felt there was a license as the tech that is picking up the request, I could actually send that on to their manager to get approval as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get an authorization done, and I'm going to approve that this happens in my environment. And as I approve that request to be authorized to be installed, what will have happen is actually the authorization to get picked up by the LANDESK automation tools and delivered via configuration management to that system automatically. You'll see there's a full-on history that goes with this implementation, so I can see when it was authorized and by who, when the notifications and details were sent out about the particular application that's been installed, as well as I can see in an overall managed request area the actual requests that are coming in by type, what their current statuses are, and this really now allows me to start seeing trends as well as seeing having visibility into those requests, so that people that are asking for constantly updates or changes or new things in the environment, we know how often that comes in and what it looks like. If we now turn back over to the Win 10 box, you'll see in just a moment the actual installation will happen, and as this distribution and notification comes up to the end user, they'll have an understanding that, hey, the request is now being fulfilled, and then will be able to launch the CMD.exe. At the same time, they're also getting notifications and updates automatically about the particular request that's been made, so that they are in constant contact, understanding where and when the request is, and when they can expect to actually receive the change. Now that the change has been made, I can now go back as the end user, double click on the CMD, and you'll see that it is launched automatically. In the same token, I can actually go out and request an installation to happen as well. Again, giving feedback and notification to the end user as part of that process. Anything that was marked as installed does not require an approval, so it will automatically bring that down and install it onto the system. Whereas other things that make a request or require a request are brought in and only made available after the right approvals, again, once specified by the actual right people, the manager in this case, and it is automated. So the software is already being delivered down to the system, and as it is delivered, the notification can be made silent or it can be as verbal as needed. In this demonstration, we will actually see a pop-up start here in a second, and we'll see an actual notification letting the user know that they can now look in their start menu to find the application that was just requested. All the while, we'll see that there was success delivered in that application as well. So now I can come down here and go into my all programs, and I can see 7-Zip's been installed and now made available for me. In the same token as the actual applications and this ability to deliver them this way, you also now have the ability to go out, and if Max was looking for applications that he used in a previous life that are not currently out and made available, he could download those and make the same request as we did for CMD. In this particular demonstration, let's go out and let's download a product that they used before called Xmind. As I start that download and start bringing the software down to the system, again, because of trusted ownership, that application will not be allowed to be run. So in normal fashion, he would click Run. Let's try to go ahead and install the application and again get a denial. But by going through the same process as we saw with CMD, we can make a request, and that request will be sent automatically again back to the system, where it will be picked up by the actual service desk to have someone go through and actually make the approval for that request. This saves time in having people package the software, virtualize the package, as well as makes it so that during installations and easy installs, things can be made available to the end user with little to no effort on the service desk or the actual IT department. Again, the user will know when that is made available because they'll get an email update letting them know that the change has been made, and then Max would then be able to go out and double click on the application and start running the installation just as if it was a previous install. This is what makes it then possible for users to be able to do the applications and run what they need to with little or no troubles. Finally, one last thing that can also be done already is by leveraging the ability to do EM with the data access rules. So currently I'm logged in as a person that is a part of the IT department, and I know that because currently the actual machine has a drive mapping to the IT drive, and then because my wallpaper is currently this blue wallpaper. But if I was to make a request, yet again, asking for to be part of the engineering team, I could go ahead and make the request out to the service desk to be worked on, and log off the machine and go about and doing other business. So I'm going to go ahead and log off right now, and as I log off, you'll also see then again on the service management request process, I will now have a new request that has been made available, asking Max if he can go ahead and be put into the engineering department. So I'm going to open up that engineering department request. Again, I'm going to authorize that request to have been made. And now that I've made that authorization, in a few minutes we'll go ahead and we'll have Max brought into the environment. Now that Max has been brought into the actual engineering share, Max can then go ahead, log into a new machine or the same machine, and in this particular case we'll see that his wallpaper changes, as well as he will get a new engineering drive instead of the IT drive. So here's Max, he's now logged in, and if I log in and see his actual drive, we'll see that his drive mappings now match, that he is now in the engineering drive.